Most mollusks that we talk about are cephalized, which means what? They have a head, okay, which means that they have what kind of symmetry? Bilateral symmetry, good job, okay. Now, we are going to talk about some things like clams and oysters, and those things obviously do not have heads. But in this case, we have bilateral symmetry. We have a cephalized organism. Now, this picture does not show the ganglia, so we're going to draw them in. Does anybody remember or want to look at their notes and tell me what a ganglia is? It's a group of nerves. No, it's not a nerve net. It's a group of nerves. It acts as a really simple brain. Okay? Ganglia. And then there are two major nerves that run throughout the body. I'm not actually sure where they run exactly. I could look. I wonder if there's something I meant to look at this morning. I forgot. So generally one will come down and run along the foot, and one will stay up in the body cavity. Not all of your mollusks are just going to have ganglia here. Some of them may have ganglia along the cord itself. Which just allows for faster response time, basically, because then those messages that are caught here in the foot region don't have to travel to the head. Okay, those messages can just go to the nearest ganglia, and then responses can happen from there. So it depends on the animal that you're dealing with. And when we're talking about simple animals like this, that's pretty common, having several ganglia throughout the body. Okay, so that's basically the nervous system. The digestive system, what color do you think the digestive system is on my picture?
Red.
Green. No, not red, Tyler. To come into the mouth. Okay, so we're dealing with a one-way digestive system, right? Travels through. Advantages of one-way digestion? We talked about this last chapter. It was on your test.
More specialized, like digestion.
They have more specialized digestion, right? Instead of just having one spot where everything has to go and that spot has to do all the jobs, here we can have food broken down, we can have food broken apart, food broken down by enzymes and acids, and then it can be absorbed in the rest of the tract. Okay? So it doesn't have to do all of those jobs at once. Now, the cool thing about mollusks is, I bet you never, is anybody in here afraid of mollusks? Afraid of a clam or an oyster or a snail? No. They are kind of nasty though, because they have little teeth. Maybe not truly teeth. Those are called radula. So you kind of have a monster mollusk. But basically, on their tongue, or what we would call their tongue, they have these little spikes that act as teeth and work to grind up food, capture food, and then it gets transferred into the rest of their system. Okay, we're going to come back to this picture in a little bit, but I'm going to move on for a minute. Okay, so we covered the head, foot, covered the visceral mass, covered the mantle cavity, ganglia, radula. Okay, so now we need to get into some more specific information. So underneath your cool diagram, you have another little chart that says class, examples, and characteristics. So what do you think should go in your first box next to class? Gastropoda, or gastropods, if that's easier for you. And some examples are listed there for you. Snails, conchs, slugs. Yes, those big conch shells that are at the beach and that you see in movies do really exist. They really do have an animal in them at one point. Of those three, snails, conchs, and slugs, which one kind of stands out as being different than the other two?
Conchs.
Why?
No slugs, I guess, because snails and conchs live in a shell.
Right, so slugs do not have shells. So when we talk about the mantle of a slug, we're not talking about a shell, we're talking about just a protective skin. One important process that these animals have that the other ones generally do not is a process called torsion. And I have a beautiful little picture on my note sheet, and I'll show you what my little picture is about in a minute, if I can find an eraser. Oh, bummer. Well, we'll get to torsion tomorrow. Okay, so make sure your names are on these sheets. You can put them in the box, or you can take them with you, staple them to your notes, or whatever you want to do. I don't care.